First of all, before I tell anything, in this year CA Foundation Law exam, CA Foundation Law, first you tell me what is the guidance you guys are seeking, and then I'll answer whatever the reason. What are the other things I can add value towards? I'll add value towards that. Yes, tell me what is that your pain points in CA Foundation Law? What is that you guys are feeling hard? Where you think you guys are going wrong? Tell me, start. Interpretations. Can I understand more about that? What do you mean by interpretation? Okay, so can I say you guys are finding it difficult to understand how to read the question? Okay, in this also, can you be more precise? What is your problem? How to read the question? Okay. So can I say that in this, your main pain point is, sir, I feel the question is related to this provision also, this provision also. Which provision does it exactly belong to? Can I say? So can I say confused with provision? Correct? Okay, this is your main pain point when interpreting CA Foundation Law. Done. And what else? How to read the question? That is where we are going wrong. Okay, what else? What else? Keywords. Can I say how to remember the keywords? How to remember the keywords? Okay, done. And and if you guys are failing, you should have at least 10 points, not just 1 point. 10. What else? Okay, how much should be written? How much to be written for 3, 5 as the case may be. Okay, done. And okay, how to tackle sub-question based question, correct? How to tackle questions with sub-questions. Questions with sub-questions. Okay. And what else? Where else you guys are going bad in law? And that's all. There's 4 points we are finding it difficult. Yeah. That's all. Even if you attend 100 also, so it's like, see, overnight we attacked Pakistan. Morning they say we didn't attack only. It's like that only. You are doing, see, simple da. You're answering it for the sake of it. Now you only know some points you would have written something. You only know that. You agree that? Okay, I'll tell you one of the biggest challenge also. How many of you are able to, now I don't know how many papers you guys have written. Now you're almost writing papers every day. Correct? Every alternate day at least you'll be writing. Now sitting today I will ask you, how many of you are able to complete the paper? 100 marks you were able to write. All of you are able to complete? No. So okay, in the class of say now say 15. How many of you are able to complete the paper? So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I am saying it is less than 30%. So 70% of people are not able to complete the answers. That's all. I mean, I getting where the fundamental mistake is happening. When I'm not able to write the questions for 100, I'm not able to answer it for 100. Where do you expect me to get 80, 70? How is it possible? You will get 70 on 100 only. When you're writing it only for 70, you're getting 40 not on 100. You're getting 40 on 70. What you're writing is what you're getting. Agreed? So one of the biggest challenge, how to complete the paper. This should be your first point only. How to complete the paper. That is 100 marks. Okay. I'll tell you 2 interpretations for this. One is that because you guys are writing it here, of course, evaluations will be, you will be held back with that 1 or 2 marks for pushing you guys. That's one way of interpretation. Second way is that you would have left out something. Something which should be answered, you wouldn't have answered. I would give more preference to the first reason. That is because you guys are writing it in-house. We want to be a little more strict and stringent with regards to our valuation compared to what is happening on the board. So yes, that is one of the interpretation. Okay, sixth one. What else? What else is your problem? Time management. Okay, I'll combine it with fifth one only. Time management. Okay, and how to? Okay, section numbers. Okay, and okay, last minute revision.
1.5 days.
Huh?
1.5 days.
1.5 day.
Last 1.5 days. How to complete syllabus.
Okay, last minute revision. Okay, how to complete the syllabus in the last 1.5 day. Okay, and think everything. Whatever you guys can think of, huh? Difficult to?
Find some few questions like a difficult to find.
From which chapter they're asking?
Financial year also.
Why financial year? I'll come back to that. Okay, but I will say it comes here.
So when we like after writing question, they're asking us to underline a keyword. So it feels like everything is important. What we should.
Okay, now this I'll take it. How to underline the keywords or how to identify the keywords. Okay, done. And
So if you are lesser that is required to write a fact of the case.
For 3 marks.
We have less than that.
okay, how to answer 3 marks question only we'll see. How to answer 2 or 3 marks based questions. Okay, done. And
Even though the keywords we know, before and afterward we are using like the normal English, like low language. It's like how to tag like you are teaching about the keywords, not the key sentence like that. Seen as in the brochure. Can we use the normal English or like that?
okay,
The language?
can I say language? Yes, sir. And that's all. If we answer these 11 questions, you guys will pass. This is pakka na 100%. Okay. So what I've done, I've taken one question paper only. I think recently they have uploaded one. What is this? MTP paper. This paper only will see whether what is there in our mind and how is the institute only answering it. Now, whatever is your questions, we'll try to see with regards to the institute answers. So that why to take our interpretations? Let us take institute's interpretation that is more recent also in time. And not even taking old one, the recent MTP that we have. Correct? Let's take that only. Okay. We check the AC temperature. Da. Decrease it. Da. You guys are feeling cold. Da? Okay. Okay. Yes, people. So let us come to your questions. Question number 1. How to read the question? Agreed. This is your biggest problem. Okay. Now go back and see. Okay. Here, first of all, let us first try to understand wherever we can directly answer it. I'll answer it. Whatever we need to take it from the book, we'll take it from the book. The first one. How to read the question? I'll come back to that. How to remember the keywords? Remember, this can happen in 2 ways. One, you need to revise at least, I would say, 3 to 5 times every provision. Before that, you cannot remember the keywords. It is impossible. See, without hardship, see, we are all built in a different way. I can remember it in the second time. You can remember it in the first time. And the other person can remember it in the 5th time. You need to respect the fact of a person being different. If one person is able to get a keyword in the first glance, it's not that you should feel that he is more smart or brilliant. We are built different way. They are built in a different way. For you, it might take more times. It's okay. And you need to read it until you remember it. And that's the funda, right? It's not a rocket science. The day you remember it, you need not read that provision anymore. Now, why do I have to keep a cap for it? What if you can understand it the first time? I would suggest, why do you want to waste time? Why 3? Why 5? In that topic, just spend it once revised, it's fine. If the first time revision is not working out for you, then what do you need to do? You have to come in the second time, third time, fifth time, eighth time. It's okay. Each of us are built in a different way. We have to accept the fact. Are you getting it? Now there can be some topics which is very easy. You will understand it the first time. You will remember it the first time. Done and dusted. But there are some topics very challenging, which will take time. It's okay. You have to revise it. You have to revise it. Are you getting the point? Now the second one, sir. I have revised it. Now how do I remember the keywords? Now your question was how to remember the keywords. Correct? Huh? Ninth one. How to remember the keywords. Now how I used to do it. First one. Once the provision is done. Now I know that in this particular, if you guys have been in the class, most of you were in my class? You guys have been in the class? Marathons. Okay. Other places? No. Online or somewhere you guys were there. Huh? Okay. Now if you guys have seen in our books, we have written something called as charts. Now say for example, I'm telling you, if I speak about, say exceptions to quid pro quo, there is a question on consideration. Exception to quid pro quo. Now in that, the first one, let us imagine natural love and affection. Now under that, we have written 3 to 4 points. Now this mapping, you need to get it. And how will you get it? The more and more times you see that chart. Now here I'm not reading the entire book. How much time will it take you guys to revise that 80-pager charts? It's easy, right? Now in my mind, how should the map come? If you're able to link to what I'm saying, I have the chart in my mind here, like a blueprint. When I say exceptions to agreements which is not having considerations, exceptions to quid pro quo, the map will just come here. I will say, okay, there are some points there. Under that, okay, there is something called as, natural love and affection. Under that, what and all will come. That map has to come just like that in front of you. And when will that happen? You see it more and more times. Now, when will that not happen? When you do not see it at all. Now, I'll tell you one thing. Why is that keyword so important? That keywords are so important is because that is what will answer your first question. When you know the keywords, you will understand the question. Because in the keywords is what the questions will be. The moment you see that 5 words, now exception to natural love and affection, what are the keywords? It should be written, it should be registered, natural love and affection, near relation. In your question, you need to search for these words. If these words are there, then the provision is exception to quid pro quo, natural love and affection, and not gift. So what I'm seeing is in the question, I'm seeing those points. Now those points I will relate to any topic. In which topic do I have these keywords? I hope I'm able to understand. Am I making sense when I'm saying what I'm telling? Let us understand this by looking at one random question only. Let us take this one only. P, Q and R, jointly promised. For me, jointly promised is a keyword. I will mark it for me in my map. A question is coming on a joint promisers. Okay. To pay a sum of 60,000. Examine considering the provisions of Indian Contract Act. Unless and until you are not a God chosen child. Out of 10 times, 9 times, the question will have which act. Luckily, you will not be tested with the act. It will clearly say sale of goods, Indian contract. It will have it. Are you getting it? Yes. The biggest challenge will be for you to apply in Indian Contract Act. Why not this? Why not this? That will be the tricky part. Identifying the act should never be a tricky part. Hello? All of you understanding? Okay, now, okay. It's a joint promisor. This I understood. Okay. Can S compel any 3 parties P, Q and R to pay him rupees 60,000? unless otherwise provided in the agreement. That's my first point. What does the agreement say? What does the joint promisor says? Unless otherwise agreed in the agreement, this person has a right to demand money from any person. Agreed? Can he do? The answer is yes. R is compelled to pay the whole of the amount to S. Can he recover anything from P and Q? When both P and Q were solvents, P is not positioned to pay anything. Now, I'll come to your second part. What? 7-mark question. Now, you tell me how much you will write. According to you, how much will you write? 1.5 page. Now, I'm telling you, never go with the quantity. The answer can be even in a half a page. If the answer is in half a page. Hello? Yes. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Now, I have people. Now, I'll take up your second question. Sir, what if there are sub-questions? How do I answer it? Luckily, here they have not given 3 plus 4. But technically, it is having a sub-question. Now, your question, should I write facts separate for this, separate for this? Should we write it that way? Remember, whenever there are 2 different questions asked, try to keep the conclusion different for both. Write it as 1, write it as 2. Explain everything related to 1 in that point only. Explain everything related to 2nd in the second point only. Do not combine it. And I'm telling you people, remember this. Whenever there is a sub-question, the chances of provision being different is very, very less. When there is a sub-question, provision will almost be the same. I'm saying you 80% of the times. The provision will not be different if there is a sub-question. Now, I cannot expect the first one to be joint promisee. Second one will not be joint promiser. It will both belong to joint promiser only. Are you getting it? I think this also you had a question. What if there is a different one? How do we? It will not be. 80%, 90% of the times it won't be. If it is there, what do we write? I'm telling you, if at all there are 2 different provisions, how do we write? You have to write, you don't have a choice. Point 1, my provision says what? Let us imagine if they're asking me about joint promisee. I will write as per, if you remember the section, write down. If you do not, then write down as per relevant section of Indian Contract Act. What does a joint promisee provision say? And write down conclusion. Again, write down second one. As per Indian Contract Act, joint promiser. Again, write conclusion. If at all 2 different provisions are asked. If not, your provision will be common. My conclusion will be 2. I hope this format you guys are understanding. Hello? Yes, sir. Sure? Yes, 100%? Okay. Now see, you said 1.5 page. See how much they have asked. Do you need to write 1.5 page? The answer is no. Now if you see, what is a format? How do we have to write? See here. Now in the instant, how many questions are there? Where is the questions? Can S compel any of the 3 parties P, Q or R to pay? First question. Second question, R is compelled to pay the whole of the amount to S. Can he recover anything from P and Q? In that, when both P and Q were solvent, they have money. Second one, P is not in a position to pay anything. Correct? People, how do I answer this question? According to me, I see 3 questions here. Provision is same. Provision is joint promiser only. How do I answer it now? In your provision, you need to write what the law says for all these 3 questions. My first question in law, what is it? PQR joint promisers. My first provision will start as per relevant section of Indian Contract Act. What is joint promisers? When more than one person together borrows something or promises to repay something to one person is called joint promisers. And I'll start answering all these questions independently in provision only. Are you getting my point? Now see, for example, can S compel any of the 3 parties to pay? My first provision will be, unless otherwise agreed between the parties, S he can compel, a person has a right to compel any of the joint promisors for recovering the loan as per the provision. I'm not yet bringing the parties. Are you getting what I'm saying? Now I'll answer the second provision also there only. R is compelled to pay the whole of the amount to S. Can he recover when P and Q are solvent? The answer is yes. When a joint promisor is compelled to pay the whole of the loan, the joint promisor can recover the money from the other joint promisors. That's my provision number 2. Are you getting it? The third one, P is not in a position to pay anything. What will you do in such case? When a person becomes insolvent, what will you do? The person will be unlimitedly liable. Meaning what? That 60,000 I need to pay. The other joint promisors will have to bear the risk. They will have to equally distribute the losses. 3 provisions. Now go and check once. 1, 2, 3. They have first written all the provisions. Now they will write, you look at the format and now they will write conclusion. Conclusion 1. Conclusion 2. In that 2. So if you look at the format, what is the format? Whatever the questions are asked, for that first write off provisions. And directly come to conclusion. In conclusion write first one, second one. Because you have already written the provision in the top. Are you understanding? Now try to interpret what they are telling you. Requires that when 2 or more persons have made a joint promise, then unless a contrary intention appears from the contract, all such persons jointly must fulfill the promise. In the event of the death of any of them, his representatives jointly. So they are telling you what is joint promisors. Allows the promisee to seek performance from any of the joint promisors. The liability of the joint promisors has thus been made not only joint and severable. What is several? Several means individually also you will be liable to repay others. Whatever they did not pay, you need to repay that. Are you getting it? Now go to conclusion. See, in the instant case, yes, can compel any of the 3 parties. Now how do I write this? I was seeing someday someone had written one solution. You had written what this person is saying wrong. No, he cannot. Do not use your own words. In the question, there will already be something that they have indicated. Can S compel any of the 3 parties P, Q and R to pay him 60,000? That's the question. My answer will be, I'm taking directly from this and they're telling you, yes, can compel or yes, cannot compel. Done. That's the answer. Do not use any new word. It's there only, in the question only. Use that only. You look at any question will be there only. You just have to write, is it possible, not possible. You look at the next one. R can recover the contribution. They would have asked, can he recover? R is compelled to pay the whole of the amount. Can he recover? Yes, R can recover. So do not write, yes, this person's contention is right. Yes, what he is telling is right. No, what you are telling, all that is not required. Don't build your question on your own words. Not required. Are you getting what I'm saying? Hello? Pakka? Understood? Okay.
This provisions and conclusions, right? They have not given any facts or analysis. Is it okay if we answer in the same format for 7 marks?
See, what I would suggest is, here, have they given it that way? The answer is yes. But adding some 3-4 points of facts, will it make a difference? Now, if you look at this question, they do not have facts. But if you look at the next question, will that also not have facts? You're not sure. So what is the best way? You include facts in everything instead of making any discrimination. You add facts for everything. Getting the point? Yes. And again, the format which... Now, okay, let's look at the next question. We'll see what format your institute is answering your question. Let us try to relate the same thing. How should we answer? Okay, next question. What does it say? Oakwood Private Limited is the holding company of Silver Oak Private Limited. As per the last profit and loss account for the year ending 31st March, Silver Oak Private Limited, its turnover was 1.8 crore and paid up capital is 80 lakh. The board of director wants to avail the status of a small company. The company secretary of the company advised the directors that Silver Oak Private Limited cannot be categorized as a small company. In the light of the above facts and in economic provisional complaints, you are required to examine whether the contention of company secretary is correct. Question. My conclusion. Contention of company secretary is correct or incorrect. That's all. Done. I will not get into my vocabulary at all. I'm okay with the English they have given. Hello? And remember, your answer should never start with conclusion. Never ever start your answer directly. Yes, this person, what he's saying is right or wrong. Do not start your answer with that. Why? A person will judge you based upon the face of the cover. That's what you started your answer with. You clearly said it's wrong or it's right. Who will read your facts? Who will read your provision? Never let your conclusion be the first sentence. If it's wrong, your other part does not have value. Getting it? First should always be, what is the format we follow? The first one will always be provision. You answer this only. Tell me, how will you present this answer? How many marks? 4 marks. Tell me, how will you present? You tell how much will you write? 4 marks question it is. How many lines you will write? So never write again. I'm telling you. It's 5th time I'm coming. Never restrict your answer to your lines. Now how much I need to write? I have to write small company definition. I will write. What is my provision? As per section. If you guys know, write it. If you don't know, don't write it. Section 2, subsection 85 of Companies Act 2013 defines small company as a company other than public company having a paid up share capital of not exceeding 4 crore, turnover of not exceeding 40 crore, and does not include holding company, subsidiary company, section 8 company, statutory company. Correct? That's my provision. Done. Now I'll write facts of the case. In the facts, now I'll clearly explain in 2 lines. What is that? Silver Oak being a subsidiary of Oak Private Limited. Now the question is Silver Oak, based upon its paid up capital and turnover, can it be considered as small company? That's all. Done. My facts is done. Now I'll come to conclusion. What is my conclusion? I will write my conclusion as referring to the provision and facts as the company, that is Silver. Remember, in facts you need to use the names given in the question. Do not write it vague. So in my conclusion I'll clearly mention. What I'll mention? Referring to the provision and facts, I will write people. What is that? Silver Oak. Silver Oak being a subsidiary company of that some other company, which is a holding company. Correct? Cannot be considered as small company. Hence, now I'll answer. What? You did not answer the question right. What is the answer? What is the question? Where is the question? Now I'll ask. You are required to examine whether contention of company secretary is correct. I will write. Hence, the contention of company secretary is correct. Silver Oak is not a small company. Done. This is how you need to write. Okay. Now again, one more question you guys have. I'll answer it here only. Sir, my provision is correct. Conclusion is wrong. Will I lose the entire marks? The answer is no. You will get something. It can be 1 or 2. You will get something, but not completely 0. You will get something. If your entire provision is wrong, if conclusion is correct, the chance of you getting 0 is very high. Because, see, It can be even by chance. It can be even by luck. They're asking you correct or incorrect. It is very easy to choose between these two. It's only 50% probability. So for conclusion alone being right, there is no hard work involved. So you will not get mark. Do I make sense? Ah, yes. Getting it? Done all of you? Okay. So what did we answer? How to read the question? You got that? Confused with provision. We'll come to that. How to remember the keywords? Chart. How much to be written? How much the? There is nothing. I can never tell you. I would have told you 100 times in the class. Even when they give you difference between question, if it is for 3 marks, do not ever think, hey, one difference, 1 mark. That time I'm writing 2. That means 2 marks per point. That is something which we have been inculcated from our childhood. That's never the case. If at all they're asking you 3 marks question for difference between, if your book has 8 points, you are expected to write all the 8 points. Are you understanding? Pakka? Tell me. That's what? I'm not telling they will give you 8-pointer difference for 3 marks.
So they are only saying to answer 3 instances.
If they are only telling you to write 3 points, write 3 points. That's 100%.
They are not giving full marks. They asked corporate will and they asked 3 instances.
Huh.
We wrote as per definition as it is and 3 instances.
Huh.
They are giving only 1 or 2 marks
Where?
for 3 marks.
Where? Here. That's what I told you, right? 2 interpretations. One is they're trying to test you the maximum extreme conditions. They are trying to do the evaluation stringently, of course. What is the ultimate motive? Motive is that you guys should pass in that exam. So keeping the evaluation as strict as possible here, so that you guys will do better there. But in your actual exam, if they're asking you 3, if you have written 3, they will not deduct the marks.
Sir, the side headings will be there. So for suppose improper side heading natural law and fiction. For corporate will, I wrote the side headings. They're saying that even if you write the side headings, the inside matter also should match.
Now you need to see how many marks the question is for. Let us imagine, people, if they're asking you, if the question is clearly given, explain the provision. You cannot just write the heading. You have to explain at least 2-3 lines. What is lifting of corporate veil, or what is alien enemy? What is evasion of tax? You need to write at least 2-3 points. I cannot keep it completely blank. You have to write something. Clear? Okay. How much to be written? This has no point. I cannot give you any weightage here. You have to write whatever is there in the book. Keep it here. Whatever is there in the book, you have to write. Getting it? Sir, now the question comes, sir. What is that? Sir, I do not know language. You are telling me to write whatever is there in the book. I cannot write the same thing. If I write, I will become ChatGPT. Of course, you cannot write. Forget about you. I also cannot write. I cannot write. I am a human. Can I expect 480 pages of the material to be remembered? I cannot. But can I expect me to remember keywords? Answer is yes. So what is that? Remember, people, keywords are something that the institute will be more keen on. They will look at that, very closely. If your keywords is right, the words around it is okay. We cannot be so sure. We cannot be 100% on the dot. We will, we cannot write cut, copy, paste answer. Impossible. See, as a teacher, how long does it take me to come and tell you, you have to write what is there in the book? Because that is what suggested answers is telling. They're writing, copy, pasting what is there in the book. Humanly, it is impossible. Do you need a theory to come out of it? The answer is no. Are you getting it? You cannot. Even if you read the book 100 times, you cannot write the same words. So then what is the key? The key is keywords. But that you cannot, you cannot come with your own words. That is not possible. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Can you, for example, can you do a question underlining the keywords?
Done. Let us do this small company only. Yeah? Okay. Now small company answer is there. Now to section 85. According to me, I have really outperformed my memory. I will tell evaluator, Sida, I know the section number. I will underline. Yes? Got it? Okay. Now come here. Paid up share capital. Sir, I'm sure because the question is being asked on paid up capital. When will you be called as a small company? Paid up capital does not exceed 4 crore. Important according to me because that is the answer. Sir, turnover 40 crore is the answer. Sir, and some things shall not be considered a small company. That's the answer. Getting? Hello? Now I'll come to the main one. In the instant case, people, facts only, no? That's how I tell you. See, this is provision. They have given only provision. After writing provision, what they have given? See, read. It's a question paper only. See, read once. In the instant case, as per P&L, year ended, Silver Oak, its turnover 1.8, paid up capital 80. It's what is this? This is question only. That's only what we have written as facts. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Now conclusion. Now here, what is my answer? Is it his answer is right or wrong? Cannot be. Hence, company secretary's statement is correct. This is how I'll underline. Hello? Pakka? If these words are there in your answer as well, rest of it is okay. You will still get 5 on 5, 4 on 5. You will get it. Hello? Pakka? Okay. Now what is the next point? Where are we going wrong? What else we have? How tackle questions with sub-questions. Did we answer that? Yes. So, either if the provision is same, write off everything on the top as provisions, writing 42, 43, 44 as sections. And in conclusion, give two, subdivisions, and that's how you can approach. If it is different, provision, conclusion, provision, conclusion. Is this clear? All of you? Okay, done. Next one. How to complete the paper? Eppadi? How to complete the paper? Tilda, how will you complete? Of course, sir, by writing only, sir. What do we do? See, when you have time, I'll tell you, for people, if you guys are watching it, when you have time, remember, at least practice writing law paper, at least one question in a day. You need to write at least one question in a day. You have to test whether your brain and hand can work in synchronization. At times, don't you think so? Your thoughts will be different. When you write it, your mind doesn't work. Then, how different is the exam hall? Agreed? Then,
How much time should we spend, sir, on an average on one question?
I'll tell you, your first 1 hour, you need to aim to write at least 30 marks. Your second hour, you should be at 60 marks. In the third hour, we are built in a way that we can write a 10 mark more. So your targets should be, in the first hour, you should be somewhere close to 30. By R2, you should be somewhere close to 60. By R3, you have to be somewhere near 100. Getting it? So this is what you need to do. Every now and then, don't look at your watch at the end. You can't do anything. You have to keep looking at the time in the process. When the 1 hour is done, reality check. How many questions done? How many more to go? Reality check. You should be somewhere close to 30 mark, 60 mark, and then 100. Last 1 hour you can tackle. 40 you can tackle. Anything more than that, you would not tackle it with brain. You would have written something which is not definitely relevant. Getting it? Yes? Okay. And time management, can I answer that only? Same thing? Okay. Next one, section number. I think I've sent you one chart. That's the least we can do. I cannot remember every section. Sir, is it only me? Every student in India cannot remember every section. And that's reality. We need to accept it. Sir, am I discouraging? Illa. Then what is that? See, first thing, from day one, start studying every topic with section. If we can do that, really, really good. If not, you try to go through so many papers by now. You have done na? How many papers on an average you guys have solved? On an average? 50? 15. You guys have written 15? 7 tests you wrote. You saw. So on an average you guys have taken, let us take 10 na. How many questions you guys wrote? Questions. Number of questions. 7 were how many questions? 35 questions in one paper. Altogether you guys have done only 35 questions. Huh? Okay, you guys 20 is how that's how you guys are doing. Okay. Now you take the data of all past papers, all the mock test papers. Now you tell me, you only know there are some topics which is very, very important, which is so many times, multiple times asked. Yes or no? We all have that data. Give more time for that. Whatever is a chart I have sent you, if I have missed adding any section, you guys add a section there. And your duty, when a day starts, your day has to start by memorizing those sections every single day. Whenever you get time, you go and watch that chart. Keep on watching it until you know. Randomly try to memorize. And that's how you nail it. And that's how I did it when I was a law student. If not, you cannot do it. It's not a rocket science. I cannot remember the sections overnight. I cannot remember the sections even after 8 times of revisions because it is numbers. And the numbers are all same, similar. Indian Contract Act also has section 10. Sale of Goods Act also has section 10. Negotiable Instrument also has. Companies Act also has. Everything has. How will you remember? How will you remember? Chetan says, yes sir, that's what is our question. How will we remember? You will remember like this only. How will you do? Take a printout every day. That's how I used to do. When I was a student, in my room, all sections used to be printout. I had taken printouts, all the sections. Whichever I feel it's important, write it and paste it. Everywhere in my room, only section numbers. My day starts with that, my day ends with that. I will go myself and memorize. Say for example, section 285, small company, 87, subsidiary company. I'll keep telling it for myself. And that's how I used to do. And I'm telling you, there is never a shortcut for hard work. Some things has to be achieved by hard work only. And remembering section is hard work only. There is no other way. By heart, you have to do it that way only. Is it clear? Sir, second one, sir. If I do not remember sections for all the questions, what do I do? It's okay. It's okay. If, see, in your old syllabus, there was clearly written in one of the RTPs, you will not be deducted for not writing the section number. But I'm telling, do not go to that approach because in suggested answers, they will write section numbers. So you are expected to write. But in old syllabus, there was a clear note given that the institute will not deduct the marks for not writing the questions. I mean, not writing the section number. So somewhere we are safe. Hello. And remember, writing a wrong section, macha, it's a landmine. It's a landmine only. Never write a wrong section until you're very, very confident. Hello. Okay. Next one. Section number. Answered.
Case it should be, is it mandatory to write it or
Landmarks.
Remember, if at all a question is asked for a case law which is already there, which will be there, you are expected to write 100% the reference of case law. 101% you need to write. If a reference is there, Now imagine Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company. They're building a case around that. You are expected to write Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company because that is a judgment, and because you are referring to that, you will say, because in Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company, a case which has a relevant fact, similar facts, the judgment was Carlyle won the case. Because general offer can be accepted by any person, you need not have to communicate the acceptance, and the facts are similar in the current case also. So I will give a reference there. I will have to write the case law mandatory. Is this clear? All of you? I will tell you for case laws. If I have to give you a comparison between section numbers and case laws, I would say case laws will have more weightage than section numbers. First to give more preference to remembering case laws and then to section numbers. Hello? No, not required. You can just say the facts given or the question or the facts in the question is similar to already decided landmark judgment Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company. That is more than sufficient. So in our in our format, I will write provision, I will write facts. The third paragraph I will write it as referring to a landmark judgment similar to the facts in the case. That is Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company. And my last paragraph will be conclusion. Dana? Besa? Okay. And what is that? Section number, Dana? Last minute revision. How do you do last minute revision? Sir, first things are, should we remember all the chapters and go, sir? Can we skip any last day? One chapter, can we skip and go?
No.
One chapter. Remember, Macha, it is always advisable. Don't dare to skip any, even a topic last day before the exam. I'll tell you logical reasoning also. Today, you would have read accounts or economics or maths so much that you wouldn't. Okay. You can write provisions first. Rest I will not comment, but provisions you can write first. Because, see, I will not... you can follow any methodology, but you're also seeing the past papers. What is this? The first paragraph should always be what that question belongs to. So you're writing what the textbook is talking about, that part. So there, do not use your own words. Your first paragraph opening statement should always be provision. And then you write whatever you want. Opening statements itself is not right means no one will look into the second part of it. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And next what? How to answer 2 to 3 marks? Did we say this? Remember, if it is a 2 or 3 marks question, it's okay to skip facts. You need not write it. 4 marks you can write it. But for 2 to 3 marks you can skip it. It's not mandatory. Now you can manage time. Answer is yes. Keep complete provision. In conclusion, only include of a little of facts. You need not have to specifically write facts again.
Sir, how to select 4 questions? Which questions?
See, the first thing you need to always be sure which one you know more. Which question you know better. So imagine in one I know some 6 points, one I know 3 points. Of course, you need to go with a question which you know more points or more confident points. You need to write that better.
Sir, how you will try to spend your first 15 minutes in exam?
Now again, this is a very, very different and perspective based question. How do you guys do it? Will you first go through the entire paper and then start writing it? Or you'll first start writing with first question you see and you'll write off, second you'll write off. How will you guys do it? Correct. Yes. Huh. So after that, how do you do it?
Sir, I'll mark, sir. Which question should I write first?
I give that submission rank-wise.
Okay. So the approach which I used to do, take a pencil, write it in the answer key only, that I am very confident on some questions. I'll write off my order because later I can forget. So I'll write off my order and that is the order I'm going to answer my complete paper. The first question will be the most confident question. I will not write anything other than answers in my first question. Remember, macha, first impression is the best impression, whether in your love or in your exam. If that is gone, your exam is gone. There you guys can't write something and all and in the first one, because you are setting a wrong example for the next answers to come. Agreed? So your first 15 minutes, classify the questions into confident level. If you're most confident, take up that as your first question, and as the case may be. Clear? Yes. And remember, always pay equal role in your handwriting. Don't start scribbling from the first question. Maintain a moderate one so that you guys can complete as much as possible. Aim at least to write more than 90. I'm not saying you have to touch 100, but more than 90 is definitely good, because whenever you get people 38, when you get 192, 196, that date will all boil down to just one point, that is, you should have written one more question. That's why I say write as many questions as possible. Getting it? Hello? Yes? Okay. And next one, sir, how to answer language. You can use it. What is the next one? Provision and conclusion. If that is right, that is wrong. This is right, it's wrong. Yes. Conclusion being right will not fetch you much, but provision being right will give you some marks. Yes. So keep these things in mind when you're writing it, and see if it is making any difference. You guys solve more questions also in the same format. See whether you're able to answer these points correctly. You randomly see a question. Which is this? Take this only. In the Blossom Private Limited, there are only 5 members. All of them go in a boat on a pleasure trip into an open sea. The boat capsizes and all of them died being drowned. Explain with reference to the provisions of Companies Act. Is Blossom Private Limited no longer in existence? Further, is it correct to say that company being an artificial person cannot own property, cannot sue or be sued? What is the answer? The answer is perpetual succession. Separate legal person, artificial legal entity. Now what will I write? I will write provision as what? A company after being registered will have certain characteristics of its own, such as artificial legal person, perpetual succession, separate legal entity, which all says once a company is registered, a company is different from the shareholders. That is, members may come and go. As LCB Gover said, company will go on for ever and ever. Agreed? Now answering to my conclusion, is Blossom Private Limited no longer in existence? This interpretation is incorrect. The Blossom will continue to be existence because of the legal representatives will take it over. Succession, perpetual succession, that will come into picture. Further, is it correct to say? No, it is incorrect. Correct? Huh? You have capacity to sue, you can hold property in your name, intellectual property, etc. Everything possible. Yes or no? Agreed? See, any question you take it up, it will be almost the same. 4 or 2 marks. 2 marks, what is this? Payment of firms. A direct question. Payment of separate debts and partnership debts. What will you pay? Partnership. First it is partnerships money will be used to pay partnership debts and separate debt. And then your individual money will be first used to pay separate debt and then partnership debt. Direct one. Okay. Look at this one. Just give it a try. The Institute of Science and Technology, Dehradun, placed an order for various chemicals worth 1,50,000 from a supplier in Delhi. The buyer made full advance payment and the seller dispatched the consignment via courier of his own choice without reserve any right of disposal over the goods. The consignment was lost in transit and now the buyer seeks a refund for the purchase price. With reference to the provisions of Sale of Goods Act, assess the validity of the buyer's claim for a refund. First of all, has all of you have taken up this paper? You guys have not yet seen? I mean, that's what MTP you have not yet seen. Give it a try.
The seller may act in
termination of goods in
You see first completely you see the question. The Institute of Science and Technology, Dehradun, placed an order for various chemicals worth 1,50,000. from a supplier in Delhi, the seller. The buyer made a full advance payment. Money is paid. Money is paid. And the seller dispatched the consignment via a courier of his own choice. Of his own choice. Okay.
Choosing the career, he must be ordinary prudence.
We'll see. Without reserving any right of disposal over the goods. Without reserving any right of disposal over the goods. The consignment was lost in transit. It was lost. And now the buyer seeks a refund for the purchase price. Buyer has paid money. Consignment has not reached. So buyer is asking for the money back. They're asking you with reference to the provisions, assess the validity of the buyer's claim for a refund. They're asking you whether the buyer asking for the money, is this valid or not? That's the question. Buyer can ask for the money back, right? Advance only he has paid. But he has paid full advance. So he can ask back? Yes or no? Tell me he asked for the provisions. Can he ask back or no? He can ask back. Tell me ask for the provision. You just ask, you guys are just saying conclusion. Define your conclusion. You are getting all of you are saying buyer can get back the money. My answer is tell me how and why can you get back the money. Tell me the justification. If your justification is wrong, you will not even get 1 mark. Failure to perform obligation is your provision. We'll see. Okay, tell me. Right of stoppage in transit.
No, sir, not that.
Ira, you will go and write this paper. Wait.
When the seller lost his right of
Right to stoppage in transit. Okay.
The seller should act in an ordinary prudence when choosing the.
Seller should have acted in an ordinary prudence when choosing the carrier, is what you are saying. Okay. Tilda, you are telling something. Tell.
So you cannot, sir, because MTP is once.
You have done MTP. Tell me.
Like I feel like a buyer claims he did his work, sir.
I also think it is valid. It is not valid.
You are saying, one second, we'll come back. You are telling that buyer cannot get money. Tell me why.
Breach to
I'll come back. Wait. Tell me. Hey, you cannot say that he'll get or he'll not get. Is that the answer? You will not get even 1 mark. If you guys are writing this only, you will not get even 1 mark. Tell me why.
Correct provision.
Yes.
he will not get the money back. He can ask for seller. Seller says he will send back the breach of condition and warranty.
Okay.
It is like breach of warranty time delayed.
Okay, got it. You are saying it is breach of conditions and warranties. Correct? Now in the class, you only say, you guys are giving me 3 different provision. He is telling the provision belongs to choosing the carrier. He is telling right to stoppage in transit. He is telling breach of conditions and warranties. Now let us try to understand how to choose a right provision from this question. Yes, sir. Even I am also seeing the question now only. MTP series they have sent. We'll see. The Institute of Science and Technology, Dehradun, placed an order for various chemical worth 1,50,000. For all of you, the question is revolving around simple thing. I'll tell you. Rupees 1,50,000 from a supplier in Delhi. The buyer made a full advance payment and the seller dispatched the consignment via a courier without reserving any right of disposal over the goods. This is a main point. Right of disposal over the goods. Reserving the right of disposal. That's where a question is coming on. Right of reservation of disposal. Right to disposal. You guys have a provision only, no? The consignment was lost in transit. The consignment was lost. Now I'll boil down by seeing these. Correct? Hello. Now see here. Assess the validity. Buyer is asking for refund. Now I have my keywords. Now see how I will choose the provision. Now listen. Now what I understood. According to me, this question is revolving around who bears the risk.
Buyers.
Now the provision is risk prima facie transfers with ownership. That's the provision. When will the ownership not transfer? When the seller has reserved the right of disposal. Clearly they have given he has not reserved the right of disposal. Has he reserved? No. So whenever the right of disposal is not reserved, and whenever you have delivered the goods to the carrier, giving the goods to the carrier is transferring the ownership to the buyer. When you give it to a courier, the ownership is given to the buyer. Now anything happens, it is at your risk, not my risk. Now keeping all of this in mind, how will I answer? Risk prima facie transfers with ownership. However, as the seller has not reserved the right of disposal, the ownership in the goods have been transferred to the buyer. You know what is the main point here? They have said here one point. What is that? Of his own choice. That is very, very important because they are trying to confuse you. Remember, a courier is selected by the seller or the buyer. Doesn't make any difference in the question. Whether it is my courier or your courier, the moment I give it to you, it is done. Because I have not reserved the right of disposal. That means I do not have any strings with regards to ownership. Hello? Because the goods are given to the courier, the word I am going to use, keyword, the goods are unconditionally appropriated. Done. These words are there, you will get 5 on 5. Hello? And that's how we need to start practicing. This is how you will understand what we need to write, what we should not write. Correct? Huh? Pennelli. Delivery of goods to the carrier and does not deserve the done. You will get the full marks. Now look at your provisions. Sir, I wrote, sir, I did not get andre understood? People, this is what I tell you. 90 quality marks attempted is important, not how we attempt. What we attempt is like we will attempt 90. You guys are on that. You guys are going in the verge of I have to score 90. I have to attend there. But are we writing the quality ones? We are going wrong there. Something is going wrong. Now, how did I pick up the points? You guys just picked up one part and you said this is the answer. Read it completely. You will have a story. You circle the keywords. Now, why did right of disposal come there? It's such an important thing. It did not come there randomly. Why did you guys ignore seeing that? Are you understanding? That's what is my concern. Huh.
Like how he told his own choice. Like that, I thought it is also confusing. The main point they're asking is whether they can.
The main one was reservation of right of disposal. That is directly given in the question. Why? How come none of you thought about it? Risk prima facie transfers with ownership. In that chapter, that's one heading. Reservation of right of disposal. Now, if I ask you, you will tell the answer also. I'll ask you one question. Tell me the example I had given to you for reservation of right of disposal. That's what I say. That's why I say in the class, you guys will remember the example, not the concept. Reservation of right of disposal in your layman language is nothing but cash on delivery. Until some condition is met, the seller has given an instruction to the delivery agent, do not give the ownership. In cash on delivery, what is the instruction? Until money is paid, don't give the product. That's the reservation of right of disposal. Imagine exchange. You guys will do your phone exchange, right? What is the reservation of right of disposal? Until the old phone is given, don't give the new phone. That's the reservation of right of disposal. Getting it how to interpret it. That's how we need to interpret the questions. Correct, huh? Hello.
Yes.
So this is what we are looking at. So what, one thing I would suggest, every day, I don't know, probably for 1 hour or 2 hours, we'll try to come with an alternate way. We have one of the faculty also. There is one faculty called Naveen. Naveen sir will start spending some time with you guys with regards to discussing some law questions. So you guys try to understand where you're going wrong. Start understanding how to read the question more precisely and then focus on answers. If I have to take something out of today's session, one thing I would take off is you guys are going, very vigorous on answers, but you're not focusing on questions at all. You're not reading the questions properly. And that's my summary point. So focus for today, agenda for today, start focusing on how to read the questions. Mark the points very carefully. And that's where the keywords are. And that's where you guys need to connect the points. Getting it? All of you? Until you get this exercise right, law will always start torturing you. That will always be there. Once you get this right, you will start loving law. Getting it down? Yes, sir. So start keeping these points in mind and start working towards it. Apart from this, anything else also, you guys can let me know. I'll help you do it. I think we learned something and I hope I answered your questions. That's what the people they were telling me that you guys had some, points to convey and all. So I think this was the main points. So keep these things in mind. You do some 2-3 days, work. Again, see if something is not going good. We'll again come and discuss whatever is the missing points. And meanwhile, as we said, Naveen sir will come and discuss some questions with you. Start reading it. Start interpreting it. Don't just rush the conclusion. I would have said 100 times in the class, don't give me your conclusions at all. I don't want it. With provisions is your answer. Conclusion for me is not an answer at all. It is just a matter of yes or a no. I don't need Einstein's brain to answer yes or a no. I need an Einstein brain for getting the provision right. Getting it? All of you? Pakka? So start focusing on that and we'll see what we can do on the later side. Clear? Yes, sir. So I think you will have one session today on law as well. Let us see if one paper can be discussed inside your class. You guys start doing this activity itself. Clear? Okay. Any other questions you guys had? No?